So I want to talk today just briefly, about 10 minutes, or maybe 11 minutes, 11 ways to buy probate real estate. The 11 ways to buy a property. Number one is pre-probate. So the people I know who do the most probate as buyers, where they're investors, is they're chasing after probates before they get in, before probate's filed. There's data sources. Probate Daily is one of them that sells pre-probate data, and successors data is another one. I actually know the owner of both of them. And people will market to them. Sometimes they'll market a database that has 2 or 3 different data points merged together: mortgage lates and probate, pre-probate. Pre-probate means somebody died, and that name appears in that address as owning the property. And so all that is when somebody died, it doesn't mean that necessarily it's a probate. It could be the wife now has the property. It could be as a trust that transfers through the trust. But this is where anytime somebody dies, people are more likely to sell a property. And so these are where marketers who do pre-probates make a living. Number 2 is Probate Leads marketing to petitioner. This is a standard program most of you who are in the business are familiar with. You get offered data by MTI or Paul Horn or alltheleads.com. You buy it and you call or mail or market to the petitioner, right? This is one of the 2 most common techniques used. Number 3 is the other one, use that same data and market to the attorney. Most people find it difficult. For most people, this is a difficult road to go because attorneys are different animals. And unless you understand how they act and how they work and are willing to come meet them at their spot, the companies who sell the data make it sound very easy, but it's not that easy, is what I would say. Yet, if you learn how to market attorneys, and this is one where I spend a lot of my time, it can be very productive. So marketing to attorneys is more than just cold calling them and talking and using a Mike Ferry script and adapting it. It's really about understanding your prospect and giving them what they want. Okay, so that was number 3. So again, when I go back to this list, 1 was pre-probates, 2 and 3 are what most of the companies will sell you and tell you to do. Number 4 is MLS Full Authority. I literally talk to real estate investors every day, every workday. And I was at Grant Cardone's event in Florida and talked to a bunch of investors there. And they all tell me the same thing when I say, well, what's the number 1 place you find deals? I literally, an hour ago, was talking to one of my best investors. And he said, come on, Bill, send me some deals. I said, well, I'm sorry, man. I was out of town for a week. And I was, and the truth is, I was in New York a week before that. I've been working on my business, but I'm not really in find investor deal business. I've been listing property more lately. Come on, Bill, send me a deal, right? And he goes, I just put 6 properties in escrow in the last month, and you're not at any of them. So I asked him, well, where do they come from? They're all from the MLS. I have a buyer I was working with who's an investor, and we were making offers on property. And she told me today, hey, I just want to make sure you know I made an offer on property without you because I went directly to the listing agent, and it just felt like one of those deals, and I got it, and it was a great deal. Where'd you find it? I said, great, where'd you find it? The MLS. So as a probate agent, if your goal, or probate investor or wholesaler, if your goal is to buy property, make sure you look at the MLS. Full authority just means there's no court approval needed. Why is this a good way to look? Because some buyers will back off just because it says probate. They don't know what it means. They just ignore it. So instead of 100% of the market looking at it, maybe 98%, maybe 95% of the market looks at it, 5% miss it. You just lower your competition a little bit. You just buy it a little bit cheaper. Okay, MLS Full Authority. So all I'm saying is, if you're an investor or wholesaler, but why would you look at MLS for probates in particular? Answer, if you want to become an expert in probate, of course that's where you're going to look at. Right? Of all the properties in MLS, I make sure I look at every probate deal just in case it's something I like, because then I get 2 things. I get a good deal and I learn a little bit more probate. Who's the attorney? Who's the customer? The process. It's like a 2-for-1 as far as I'm concerned, right? So MLS Full Authority. Now MLS Limited Authority, and there's 2 ways you can play this. I only recommend the second way. You can play this game, and some investors do, by getting on them early and being the original bidder on the theory that other investors won't overbid you because they don't be bothered going to court and going through all those hassles. The problem is your money is tied up at some point for typically 30 days or longer. And if the attorney and or the petitioner don't know what they're doing, it could be months and months and months of your money tied up. And that means you run the risk of the market turning while you're in escrow. That's what happened pre-COVID. I had buyers who were in escrow. When COVID hit, they were delayed 6 months. They assumed that would be bad, and they were begging to get out of their deals. Unfortunately, none of them actually were able to cancel, and they all closed for their benefit because it worked out. So definitely limited authority is something to look at. The second way is at court. Somebody makes an offer on the property, the state accepts it subject to court approval. They schedule the court approval process. They go to court and say, hey, we have an offer. Would you please approve it? The judge says, anybody here want to pay that price plus 5% and $500? And I show up with an investor, we raise our hand and say, yeah, we'll pay that price. And we have a cashier's check for 10% right here, and we're waiving all contingencies. I'm giving you a summary of a long process, but that's the short version of it. Okay, number 6 is court confirmation sales and auctions. Whoa. So number 5 really is buying it before it gets to court. Number 6 is waiting until it gets to court and buying it there as an auction. So again, that's the confirmation process. Somebody did number 5, bought the property as soon as it went on the market. They waited around for 90 days or so. And number 6 is you walk in and say, I'll pay that price plus 5%, 500. Here's 10% in cashier's check. We've already seen the property. We waive our contingencies. And then unless they overbid you, there's an auction, you get the property. And I think I do about one of those a month. I wish I could do more. It was great business. It's got a little more competitive. 7, courthouse farming. Obviously can't be done today. Can't be done today for sure. Couldn't be done, maybe it could have been a little bit more a week or two ago. But I used to go to court every day, and just like a real estate agent might farm a residential neighborhood, I would farm the courthouse. And I knew investors who walked the courthouse looking for realtors, looking for deals, looking for attorneys, looking for estates. And that's another way to get business. 8, you can buy properties by servicing people who need living trusts. Who needs living trusts? Mostly people with wealth. 8% of all wealth and trust is in real estate. And so if you're an attorney, this is a great way to generate leads. If you know an attorney, great way to generate leads. Invite people to come to a seminar on living trusts. Help them get a low-cost living trust option or a sophisticated one. Call to confirm the appointment before they show up for the appointment. Hey, by the way, if you'd like, I can pull for you the actual deeds of your real estate property. So if you want to move forward, you can give them the attorney right on the spot and get the process started. I don't charge for that service. You pull the properties up, you can take a look at it, and they might say in the course of that, I got these 8 properties and 6 are from my father and I really don't want them. Hey, would you consider a cash offer for them right now? So again, this is another way that one can talk to owners of property and catch properties off market by offering living trust to consumers or your centers of influence. Number 9 is living trust from attorney referrals. You can go to an attorney who does a business in probate administration or trust administration and offer to help market them by offering living trust to their customers. Number 10, COI referrals. Obviously, if you know something about probate, you've been to my class, you take a training class, let everybody you know about it. Power of social media is you tell people that you're involved in probate real estate, that you do one of these other 11 methods, and you're going to have a friend or family member say to you, hey, you know about probate? I literally had that happen. I went to synagogue about a month ago. I had a guy say, that's funny, I saw your YouTube on probate. You know, my father passed away. He's got some property in Nevada, he's got some property in Florida. Can you help me? Yeah, that's what I do. I do it all day long. So I got to ask, what's CY? Center of influence. Sometimes known as sphere of influence. Basically, or if you're a Keller Williams agent, you're Mets. I would say anybody that you know, that you like them, they like you. If you called them on the phone, they wouldn't avoid you. If you left a message, they'd return the call. If you bump into them in the market, they'd say hi to you. I call it the big 5. So basically your COI or your center of influence or sphere of influence is the list of people that you know in your life that you could call and do business. And then number 11 is the networking. And I'll just tell you guys, I became a probate expert 2.5 years ago, and I made sure everybody knew when I went to networking events, that was my area of expertise. And as a result, people would call me up with deals. People would ask about deals. It sometimes had nothing to do with probate. It was interesting enough that probably half the referrals I get from people that I meet aren't even probate related. They know me as a probate expert. they assume that means that I'm not just a great realtor, but I'm a probate expert. So we think if we specialize as an agent or wholesaler, investor in something narrow, that people think was just the narrow. It's not true. It's the opposite. The more narrow your specialty, they assume you mastered the basics and in order to know the narrow. That's the power of branding. Okay, so those are 11 ways that you can buy property in probate. And I just want to get that kind of out in a video format to share that it's not just listings. I'm a listing agent. That's my focus. But I try to help my clients who investors buy property all the time. And these are some of the techniques we use to generate listings and leads and properties that they can buy. And sometimes they just do it themselves, or I'll help them wholesale it or something like that and get in the middle of it. And frankly, I've probably done more business like that this year, where I got buyers and sellers together and just did an off-market deal and got paid, than I have actually listing and selling property. It's gotten a lot easier.